Nikki, you were bankrupt when you left the UN. After you left the UN, you became a military contractor. You actually started joining service on the board of Boeing, whose back you scratched for a very long time, and then gave foreign multinational speeches like Hillary Clinton is, and now you're a multimillionaire. That math does not add up. It adds up to the fact that you are corrupt. Identity politics. This new religion that says your race, your gender, and your sexuality are your identity. It is anti-American. It is meritocratic, it's anti-meritocratic, and it is dividing this country to a breaking point. But it's even worse when Republicans try to play the same game. And Nikki Haley's campaign launch video sounded like a woke Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light ad talking about how she would kick in heels. At the first debate, she said that only a woman can get this job done. That's what she said. After the third debate, when I criticized Ronna McDaniel after 5 failed years of leadership of this party and criticized Nikki for her corrupt foreign dealings as a military contractor, she said that I have a woman problem. Nikki, I don't have a woman problem. You have a corruption problem. And I think that that's what people need to know. Nikki is corrupt. This is a woman who will send your kids to die so she can buy a bigger house. This is the problem. Using identity politics more effectively than Kamala Harris is a form of intellectual fraud. And it actually needs to end. There's our donor puppet masters wielding their puppet right up here tonight. This is how this game is played. The puppet masters put up their puppet, and I reject the use of identity politics in this party. It has been a cancer coming from the left, and I'm sick and tired of the double standards. The people of this country are too. Having 2 X chromosomes does not immunize you from criticism.
Thank you.
Foreign policy experience is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I was the first person to say we need a reasonable peace deal in Ukraine. Now a lot of the neocons are quietly coming along to that position, with the exceptions of Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, who still support this, what I believe is pointless war in Ukraine. And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, I mean, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it. So reject this myth that they've been selling you, that somebody had a cup of coffee stint at the UN and then makes $8 million after, has real foreign policy experience. It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for. And there's her puppet masters right there. The donors right there that are playing her like the puppet masters.
Hold on.
Woo! To be fair, I don't think old granddaddy Biden can name 3 states in America, let alone name 3 provinces in the Ukraine or even Russia. Man, Vivek. How do you say his last name? Vivek Ramaswamy. Let's just go with Vivek. Vivek, my boy. Okay, so this is my very first time actually sitting down and listening to Vivek. I know who he is. I know that he's running to be the Republican candidate to run against Biden or against Trump if he runs. But this is the first time you're really hearing about him. When he first came to this world stage in the media, I kind of thought he was like the media's darling. So I kind of just side-eye him, because anytime the mainstream media like props someone up, I'm like, no, probably not the right person. But now it seems like the media is kind of doing a 180 on the guy. Boy, he was doing a lot of burns on Nikki Haley. I did a video about her. I actually deleted it from my channel because I thought Candace Owens was backing Nikki Haley, but apparently it was a joke, because she said she was backing Nikki Haley for Israel, not the United States. So I took it down because I was mistaken, because if I'm mistaken, I'm not going to continue with the lie or fake news. So Nikki Haley is the woman who said finish them when it came to the Hamas and Israel, Palestine and Israel, Middle Eastern conflict. And she did accuse Vivek of being a misogynist. I saw that interview and I was like, that sounds very woke. What does you being a woman have to do with anything?
He comes out of the gate. He hits the female chair of the party. He hits the female anchor on the platform. And then he hits me. And I'm not saying anything.
I ain't saying, I'm just saying.
But he might have a girl problem. I'm just saying he might have a girl problem.
So he was going after her, and she really did have like a blank look on her face. Like she did not know what to do, what to say. She didn't know what to do with herself. And the whole holding up the piece of paper, I think it said like Nikki Haley is corrupt or whatever. That seems like a Trump move. That seems like something Trump would do, like out of his playbook. Saying that Nikki Haley is corrupt because she's just pushing for war, because we all know some politicians benefit financially from war. Like, how the fuck are you a millionaire, or how the fuck are you this financially rich if your salary is only supposed to be $200,000 a year? You know what I mean? But all politicians, senators, congressmen are like this, and that's why we should have term limits for all politicians, not just for the president. But they're never gonna let that happen. Anywho, I was eating popcorn on this, but let's continue with the debate.
First of all, Chris Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York. Yeah. So do everybody a favor, just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this race. When it comes to Nikki, all three of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually begging Donald Trump for that endorsement.
And you attacked him in your book a year ago.
Same thing with Chris Christie as a lobbyist, begging them for COVID money for his special interests in New Jersey, prepping him for the debates last time around. The real enemy is not Donald Trump. It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state that at least Donald Trump attempted to take on. And if you want somebody who's going to speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that January 6th now does look like it was an inside job? That the government lied to us for 20 years about Saudi Arabia's involvement in 9/11? That the Great Replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform? That the 2020 election was indeed stolen by big tech? That the 2016 election, the one that Trump won for sure, was also one that was stolen from him by the national security establishment that actually put up the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that they knew was false? There's a reason why I'm the only person on the stage who can say these things. That's what it's going to take, not people who were licking his boots one time and now Monday morning quarterbacking him and criticizing him when it's convenient. Transgenderism is a mental health disorder. We don't let you smoke a cigarette by the age of 18. We don't let you have an addictive drink of alcohol by the age of 21. And I just challenge Ron DeSantis to go one step further and support what I think is clearly within the authority to do, using federal funds just like Reagan did in '84 for the Highway Act that said the minimum drinking age needs to be 21. We can do the same thing when it comes to banning genital mutilation or chemical castration. I know Ron's been unclear about that on the federal level. I'm crystal clear. That's where I stand.
Got it.
That's a mental health disorder. That's where we need to be at.
Go ahead.
This climate change agenda that is shackling this country like a set of handcuffs. I said it at the first debate, and I stand by it. The climate change agenda is a hoax because it has nothing to do with the climate. That's what we have to see. 98% reduction in the climate disaster-related deaths in the last century. 8 times as many people are going to die of cold temperatures this year than warm ones. Yet against that backdrop, there's an issue coming up in Iowa. It's core to Iowa farmers. I met Kim Junker, Kathy Stockdale, and other farmers who are about to have a carbon capture pipeline built across their land using eminent domain to do it. That's unconstitutional and it's wrong. And if you thought COVID was bad, what's coming with this climate agenda is far worse. We should not be bending the knee to this new religion. That is what it is. It is a substitute for a modern religion. We are flogging ourselves and losing our modern way of life, bowing to this new god of climate, and that will end on my watch.
Wow, there was a lot said and I learned some new things here. Maybe you guys can help me out. Okay, I like how he said climate change agenda. He didn't say climate change was a hoax. He said the climate change agenda, meaning corrupt politicians and billionaires and trillionaires hiding behind the climate change freak out that they've indoctrinated the younger generation with and trying to hide what benefits them, which is just more control. right? You know, like the idea of a climate change lockdown. Like people skirted that around when it was the pandemic lockdown. Like, oh, look, you know, the animals are coming back, the trees are greener, the air is cleaner. We should do this every year for a couple of months, make people lock down, make people stop driving. Like, it's more about control and power and money than the actual climate. Like, I don't like to be hyperbolic and generalize people, but I'm pretty sure there's politicians out there, just like there's good teachers and good cops and good nurses, but majority of the time, if a politician is saying they're doing something that's good for you or good for the planet or good for your children or good for society or good for the culture or good for the economy, they're lying out of their ass for the most part. And if they are doing something good for you or good for society or the culture or people, it's because it benefits them somehow. But anyway, I don't want to go too much on a tangent. The other thing he said was Saudi Arabia tie in with 9/11. Somebody teach me, educate me. How does Saudi Arabia has anything to do with 9/11? I've heard lots of conspiracy theories about 9/11. Saudi Arabia has never came up in those conspiracy theories. So please, someone in the comment section, if you can educate a girl. He talked about the great replacement theory, the replacement theory. What is that? Is that like the Great Reset? I'm gonna look that up. That sounds interesting. Got my tinfoil hat tingling, so I'm gonna look it up. But if you know what the Great Replacement theory is, please let me know in the comment section below, because I never heard of that before. Chris Christie, why are you running for president? This is silly. Like, what are you doing? Did he fat shame Chris Christie, say like, why don't you go grab a meal or grab something else to eat? Like, what are you doing? This isn't a joke. I mean, at this point, it is a joke. A monkey can fucking run America. Seriously. At least Ron DeSantis tried to speak up for himself a little bit. He tried to do a little pushback. My theory, my view of Ron DeSantis is that he's probably really good at what he does. He's probably good at his job. I don't think Ron DeSantis is meant to run for president. I don't think he's meant for this stage. Unfortunately, since debates have been televised, it has become more of a popularity contest. If you cannot speak, if you cannot defend yourself, if you're not somewhat charismatic, you're not going to win. So I like Ron DeSantis. I think he's good at his job. I don't think this is for him. Unfortunately, I don't think it should be like that. I don't think that's right or wrong. I don't think it should be a popularity contest. I think who can do the job the best should win. But we live in that society, we live in that culture now where if you can't present yourself, if you can't talk well, you know what I mean? They said, didn't they say like Nixon lost because he sweated a lot when they had the first televised debate? It matters. Unfortunately, image matters. People liked Justin Trudeau at first because he was young and attractive. People liked Obama because he was young and attractive. It matters. And if you don't have the looks, you have to be able to be charismatic. You have to be able to entertain and talk. Unfortunately, that's the culture we live in. I like the idea that he brought up that it should be just like we have an age cap when it comes to sexual consent and driving and drinking and going to the army and signing contracts and stuff like that. They should raise the age limit of, I think, any type of surgery for children, if it's cosmetic, if it's not life-threatening, like literally physically, like I'm gonna die if I don't get this taken out of my body type of life-threatening. I think there should be an age limit to that, or a consent age to that. I also think the age of going to war should be raised, by the way. That's just my thing. I don't think it should be 18. I think it should be 21 at least. I think 18 is way too young. And I also think 18 is too young to vote. I think both of those ages should be risen. And I also think the age of consent, sexual consent, should be risen. But I have a sneaky suspicion that the age of sexual consent is only going to get lowered for the most part, sadly. But anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think of Vivek in that debate. Do you like the guy? Would you vote for the guy? Are you suspicious of the guy? Like, he did say a lot of stuff about that. I think he's either going for like the MAGA supporters or the MAGA supporters that kind of fell off and kind of want someone kind of like Trump, but not with all the baggage Trump comes with. You know, calling out the January 6th thing as well, saying that the election wasn't literally stolen by election fraud, but by big tech. That's a really good point. Like, he brought up some good points. So is in a way is trying to like hop on Trump's bandwagon a little bit, like how you accuse Ron DeSantis or Chris Christie of doing, like beating up Trump's ass just to get the foot in the door, but then abandoning him once they got in the door. But I think he did it in a different way. He made a good point. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think. If you like him, if you're suspicious of him, would you vote for him? Do you want to see him and Trump on the debate stage? Ooh, that would be really entertaining. I would have my popcorn be eating it up? Or will you still vote for Trump over him? If you are a Trump supporter, if you're voting conservative or right or not, or if you do not like any of these guys, let me know in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to get your notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, guys. You can donate and help support this channel and keeps me on this platform. And you guys have a beautiful day. Bye.
Nikki, you were bankrupt when you left the UN. After you left the UN, you became a military contractor. You actually started joining service on the board of Boeing, whose back you